Nowadays, it's so common in the self-development field to have this king-queen, masculine, feminine dynamics that every social media influencer and self-help guru is teaching you about. And we notice from our community and our relationship that many of those advices are actually harmful and bad for you and your relationship and your beloved one. So whether you are in a relationship or in a intentional community, this video might give you an idea of how those dynamic or those stereotypes, new age stereotypes, can be very toxic to your relationship.
So what we're talking about is teachings that focus on creating healthy polarity in relationship, that focus on helping you be fully in your feminine and queen, or fully in your masculine and therefore being the king.
Although this sounds very appealing for those of you who are in a spiritual journey and wanting to embody those masculine or feminine quality and be attracted to your soulmate or to somebody who supports you in this healing journey, there's so much limitation limiting the embodiment of who you truly are.
Yeah, so I was trapped in this for a brief moment in time because I was following somebody in social media who...
Don't follow social media.
Yeah, now I barely use social media anymore besides YouTube. But yeah, I was following somebody whom had something I wanted. She seemed to be so comfortable in her feminine sexuality, and she talked very convincingly about how to create this kind of healthy polarity in relationship. So I was following her and I took her advice, and as a result I began to think that both Ram and we should change something in order to create this, I don't know, like a chemistry or something.
Yeah.
And I noticed that actually wasn't bringing us closer to each other. It was not healing. So basically the message was that as a woman you can help your man step into his masculine. You can help him step into his king, because that's the integrated, healthy, like a new human, that there is this kind of like a blueprint for men how they will be in the new age.
Yeah, or a new woman.
And the stereotype similarly of the new woman who is fully flowing in her feminine and at the same time a wild woman, and all of this just led me to think that something needs to change.
And that change brought our relationship into a big challenge. Some of it was positive because we are always continuously moving. Some of it was not so healthy because it required that the other person need to change, need to embody some quality that perceive a man or woman should have. And that can be farther from the truth, because only each one of us know and have this blueprint, and each one is different. So it's a very different process for each man, it's a very different process for each woman. And to have this stereotyping of supporting your man to step into his king, to be his power, blah blah blah.
It's basically it's spiritual language. It's a nice, eloquent language to say, I don't accept you the way you are, I need you to change. But instead we say, I help you step into your king. But what that means is that I need you to be different. That's the message that we're giving. And we've witnessed this actually a lot in our wider circle, where women feel that the man should be a container in the relationship. And this usually means that he needs to hold his shit together. Like if the woman is triggered, she gets to go into this full-blown Shakti expression of emotion.
Or throwing tantrum.
And he needs to just like hold it and be a container where all of this gets to be expressed.
As if the man is just this hero that's always available on demand for the woman's need. Which can be amazing if the man is offering this, but it's not something that you can expect from your man or your partner.
It is expecting ourselves being imperfect, going into those emotional tantrums, expecting the other one to be perfect in their, emotional containment and not get triggered. We forget when we demand that we are both human beings learning together. In a way, it's externalizing the parent. It's saying, I want a perfect parent who is able to hold their shit together while I throw a tantrum.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, each of us needs to find the ability to contain ourselves, because no one else can offer that perfectly. It's not realistic, because we are all wounded children on a journey.
Yeah.
So like, only if you want the safety of containment, you need to learn to provide that. And it doesn't mean you can never have it from the outside. It just means that you take ownership.
And you don't put pressure on your partner to be the main provider for this. If you feel this is something that you need, you maybe need to reach out for a therapist or for a coach or for somebody who know how to hold emotional space for you, so you can have this safe space, and from that you can build on in your relationship. And it's beautiful when we provide it for each other. It creates such a beautiful dynamic, and strengthen our relationship, make us strengthen our relationship, make us deeply connected to each other, and sometimes we have really good sex afterwards.
There is nothing probably that kills masculinity more than the message, you're not good enough. You need to change. This pushes the man out of their center. This makes them feel not good enough. And that this is the opposite of the masculine energy, which is, in a way, it's confidence, it's being in the center, it's knowing who you are. So instead of shaking them at their core, learn to know them more deeply. Learn to express yourself clearly without judging them. Express your boundaries and needs without making it about the other person. And be curious. Who is this person deep down? What are the hidden corners of their soul that they are hiding from you? Make them feel that there's nothing they need to hide, because when you need to hide something, you cannot be in your center. So the important key here is, when we want the other person to be more feminine or more masculine, we actually need to look at, why do we need that? What is the insecurity in us that we want, that causes us to want that? Like, for example, if I want Ram to be more in his masculine, is it because I feel deeply ungrounded or unsafe in myself, that I need someone else to provide that? And it's not wrong. It's just to recognize that and realize that, okay, I'm projecting something here to the outside that I'm missing in myself, that maybe I didn't have as a child. And then it becomes the matter of healing that wound.
And really, guys, when you start healing this wound, you will see an evidence of the healing process manifested in your partner, in your friend circle. Those of you who live in an intentional community, you see it there. And for us, it's a really beautiful process of unfolding, to be able to really stay at our center and hold space for the other person. But this is something you actually shouldn't expect. Otherwise, it will create a lot of drainage in your relationship. And if it happened, appreciate it and give your partner a lot of love and appreciation for it. And if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of life, and there is more chance for you to grow into holding space for each other. And remember, most importantly, you are not therapists for each other. If you really need support in your relationship, this is not the responsibility for your partner to be your therapist. So reach out for help, reach out for us, reach out to your therapist. And
especially if it's a trigger between the two of you, it's very difficult to hold space objectively for somebody when you are involved in that trigger.
We hear this from friends and clients, that they expect, or their woman or their partner expect them to be a container for her when she's triggered, which is amazing.
It happens sometimes. Also between us, we hold space for each other every now and then.
But we also have gone in this path for many years, so we've been doing like process and with ourselves, and
we have sought help from the outside as well. So how I got out of that toxic loop of, Ram, you need to be more masculine, and then Ram started to get hooked into that and say, no, you are really like tense, you're not in your feminine, you need to surrender more. So we were just like
throwing balls on each other,
blaming each other. And it's like, I think actually it was plant medicine that helped us a lot. Indirectly, that wasn't even the intention, but somehow it just like put me in a state where I was able to be really grounded in my own being and just love Ram the way he is. Just witness all of him, his inner child, his insecurity, his rage, his fire, and just like witness that and accept it.
And when she gone through this process, helped by plant medicine, by the way, check our video about this topic, it's really amazing and it can help you as well. When she embodied those quality of acceptance and surrender and really loving me for who I am, I could actually feel more relaxed, feel more able to be in my center, to hold space for her and to love her the way she is, and not having this image of how a woman should be or how a man is, like really toxic and really draining.
Yeah.
And there's nobody perfect, guys. Like it's so beautiful just to explore who we are without having any idea, like coming from the outside or social media influencers to tell us who we're supposed to be, because we are all different, we're all unique, we are all special.
And that's what we enable when we love the person for who they are.
Yeah.
We allow them to explore who they are and unfold into their unique expression without us imposing a model on them. And that could mean for different men, that could be somebody has a more feminine expression and somebody has a really masculine expression, like naturally, and that's their authentic expression in this moment.
Yeah.
And of course it doesn't mean that you have to accept all the behavior or bad behavior. There's a difference here. I can at the same time honor my own needs and my boundaries while allowing Ram to be who he is. You both can coexist at the same time. And of course, like sometimes when you unfold into your authentic expressions, both of you, it can happen that you face incompatibility, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything went wrong. It doesn't mean that one of you is wrong.
It does mean that you have to break up, although it might lead to that if there is a big incompatibility between you.
It might mean that you change the form of your relationship to friendship. So this is, and that's often the fear of people unfolding into their authentic expression, because we don't know what that looks like. It's the unknown. It's the mystery.
It's like jumping on the other side without knowing what's on the other side.
Yeah, but then there is that commitment to, I will not reject you.
Yeah.
I will love you and process what it brings up in me. Because, for example, for Ram actually to heal, for Ram to go into his full masculine expression, or even in his, that's who he is, he needs to heal his inner children, which means that they need to be allowed to come up. Like his vulnerability, his emotions, his insecurity needs to have space to be witnessed in order for it to be healed.
And most importantly, witnessed by myself, giving this to me first.
Right, it doesn't mean that I become the mother, although sometimes I do serve that purpose, but only when I want to, like I can nurture that inner child in him. And that actually, instead of telling him you should like man up, like that doesn't actually make the person man up. It's when we allow those insecure parts to be welcomed and accepted, they begin to grow up. It's almost like there are those little children inside of us who are stuck in that freeze state, and when we love that child unconditionally and tell them you're welcome, what you feel is welcome, they begin to actually heal and grow up. So those baby parts begin to mature.
Yeah, and that applies to women as well, of course. And
so if I am, for example, tense, some men maybe complain that modern women are like too masculine, they are and tense, rigid. They are rigid. But if you judge that, that's not going to help her to drop into her feminine more.
She would just push you away and pretend
or make herself wrong.
Or go to victim plane.
Shame. So here again, it's about the man learning to love her, the tense part, learning to love her even when she's tense, and not react to it or push it away.
Or sometimes reflect on why they reject the intensity in themselves. And this is happen very much to men who are not comfortable with the intensity inside them and their masculine expression, and then it come up in the other side in their partner, and then they are frustrated with it because they don't have access, or they have suppressed it deep within them. So it's integrating those aspects. They are beautiful and lovable and acceptable.
So it's really about integrating both the feminine and masculine inside of each person, finding the healthy polarity internally. Many women actually need to integrate more their masculine, not their feminine, which is that ability to be centered, assert yourself, speak the truth, clarity, contain yourself, set boundaries, say no. And only what I realized is that only when I started to own my inner masculine, I could actually drop into my feminine more, because then I can trust myself to protect myself. So if I don't have that inner protector that is setting boundaries, that is clear about what I want and don't want, then I can't trust myself in relationship, because all the time I might end up doing something that I actually don't want.
And by the way, this is what men actually want in their partner. They want women who can assert boundaries with other people, especially
without
other
rejection.
Men, being loving and open, and being able to hold together the relationship and the family and their connection with other people. And this is what I love about you a lot.
And there is often a contradiction actually in the wish that we women have for men to be more in their masculine, because we may say that consciously, but unconsciously we're actually afraid of masculinity. And that is the reason oftentimes why the men in our lives are not stepping up. Because actually they can sense that we would be afraid of it, we would make it wrong, or we would make them the bad guy and become the victims. So meaning maybe we are afraid of an assertive man who knows what they want, who is confident. Maybe we are afraid that if he really knows his worth, he will choose someone else, he will leave. So he needs to, maybe unconsciously we want them to be a little bit insecure so that they stay with us. So watch yourself. Watch how you react to assertiveness, confidence, fire in men. Are you willing to allow that into your life?
So to sum it up, I would say just become more of who you are. Don't focus on being a healthy masculine or healthy feminine. This is a process that we are all going through. There is nobody, in my personal experience, I didn't see anybody who I can look up to and say like, oh, this is a perfect man, I want to embody his quality. It's a process. Being a man or being a woman, it's an initiation to come back to ourselves, to come back to our center and discover what those qualities mean for each one of us at which time. And this is the juiciness of life. And this is what we love you to experience with us, new Earthlings.
Yes, you know, like no one of us wants to be boxed into one category, like, oh, you need to be only soft and nurturing. No, I'm also a wild woman, I'm fiery, and sometimes I'm goal-oriented, and sometimes I take the lead. And the other way around, like sometimes Ram is vulnerable, sometimes he cooks and nourishes everybody, and sometimes
I cry, sometimes I dance femininely, sometimes I do feminine things, I wear feminine clothes. It doesn't mean that I'm not my masculine expression. Just like parts of me coming up, and I'm allowing this part to be there.
So when you have healthy balance of the polarities inside of you, only then you can be in a healthy polarity balance with the other person. You can't just force yourself into feminine and masculine and then expect to have a healthy polarity. You will manifest toxic dynamics because both are suppressing something. So here the key is just witness what it is in you that you reject the most in yourself. Is it the assertive qualities, or is it the vulnerability or the softer qualities? And then maybe you can explore why are you suppressing that, and how can you allow that more internally and allow that more in the other person.
By the way, we have a really good video about what women need to have in men.
Oh, it's an old video.
This is a really good old video. Check it out. It will make you laugh. And if you're new to our channel, subscribe to see more videos like this. And if you have any questions about relationship, intentional community, healthy living, just write it in the comment below and we'll answer it in the next one or in the comments.
Yes, and we are in Portugal now since like 1.5 months maybe. And we're exploring the territory here, the alternative projects, and looking to maybe settle here. So we want to share more about our journey here in Portugal. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned.